States are bound to disappear and they are doing so. Xiefeng. February 9, 2018. As Zhuge predicted in his Divination Before Saddled Horses, the talented will be put to good use, and the whole world will be one family, is the general trend of human social development as marriages and families, states, political parties, and religions are becoming decadent. This is a law of the evolution of society that cannot be stopped. Today, artificial intelligence is growing, a black swan which is flying high, the world is rapidly moving toward a new pattern. All the efforts to maintain those marriages and families, states, political parties, and religions are not only fatuous, but even futile. In 2002, I predicted that marriages and families would disappear, that marriages and families, just like foot binding for girls which was popular in the Southern Song dynasty, would be regarded as symbols of backwardness and fatuity. Today, the rise of the global divorce rate and the rapid increase in the percentage of single people prove that my prediction is becoming a reality. Looking back upon marriages and families from 20 or 30 years hence, people will see them as ridiculous as foot bindings for girls. Marriages and families are the same as states, the present states are equivalent to primitive tribes, those tribes have died out and so will states. This must happen because the existence of states seriously restricts the development of the productive forces and the leap of human civilization. Even more horrible is that states are the chief criminal agents which cause military conflicts, overconsumption of resources, purging of human rights, and the destruction of the ecology. All states are actually jails which keep their people in perpetual bondage in their names. It is right to love one's hometown and one's motherland, but wrong to love their state. Places have emotional ties, but states are violent machines. The bankruptcy of states will be disastrous for those in power, but glad tidings and welfare for their nationals. Let us use China as an example to show this. At present, who would think that the extinction of what used to be states but are now provinces was not a good thing? It is precisely because of the extinction of those states that there is a unified China today. Is this not a good thing for the people? At least we do not need visas nor to deal with customs agents to travel throughout China. How great! If China were again divided into Qi, Chu, Yan, Han, Zhao, Wei, Qin, even add Xixia, Dali, Inner Mongolia, Xinjiang, Tibet, and Manchuria, we would not be able to travel freely between those provinces. How do you feel? It would absolutely not be a good thing for the people. So we can imagine that if there were no states in the world today and that if all states disappeared, the people would be able to flow freely throughout the world. What a great thing that would be for ordinary people. Therefore, all states are morally bankrupt and they must all disappear. How can all states be bankrupt and disappear? Facebook has nearly 2 billion users. It has actually become a great invisible power. Mark Zuckerberg has a great plan to build a global community, actually a global government, and as more and more citizens of the earth join Facebook, the existing states will gradually exist in name only. On February 7, 2018, the private American company, SpaceX launched a super heavy-duty carrier rocket, Falcon Heavy, far beyond all the satellites in orbit. Their power to launch rockets far exceeds those of Russia, the United States, and China. This shows that if thousands of private enterprises like SpaceX were to appear, then these private enterprises could completely solve all the problems of the world and the existence of the state would be totally unnecessary. In South Africa, Michael Tellinger launched the Ubuntu movement. As this movement becomes more and more popular and is implemented more widely, the existence of the state will become less and less necessary. Someone proposed that the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand should form a federal republic. Would that not be great? I believe that the vast majority of citizens within those 4 countries would cheer. The more quickly that such proposals come into being, the sooner that states will disappear. If the European Union, the African Union, and South America were to unify, then most states would exist in name only. There are thousands of spiritual, ecological consensus communities in the world and their numbers are growing. These communities have been created to solve the problems of food, clothing, shelter, transportation, birth, aging, illness, death, and life sublimation on their own, and none of them are willing to be controlled by any government. With the establishment and development of more and more communities, who will still need huge administrative expenses to bully people? Who would want the government to control people and tell them when to urinate and when to defecate? In 2009, I predicted that great disasters around 2013 would not happen. Instead, there would be stepwise, reciprocating, and more serious natural climatic changes. The natural climatic changes over the past 9 years have proven my prediction to be accurate. In the prologue of the third edition of 800 Values for New Era Human Being, I said, "A new era for humanity will begin on New Year's Day of 2018 and it will last for a millennium. The first 30 years will be a time for soul purification and the elimination of outdated consciousnesses. A large-scale soul purification will be necessary for humanity. Those consciousnesses which are not suitable for the needs of the new era will be eliminated. The following 10 years will be a transitional period, the traditional production and life modes will be replaced by new models. After that, humanity will enter a harmonious era when all religions will unite as one, favorable weather will prevail throughout the year, and everyone will enjoy happy, joyous, free, and blessed lives. This new era will last till the end of the year 3017. In other words, from January 1, 2018 through the succeeding 20 years, and especially through the first 10 years, unimaginable climatic changes will take place, refugees from these changes will be countless, and the problems of dealing with the refugee crisis will become more and more difficult. From 2028 to 2038, people will have to compete for survival resources. Their struggles will be unrestrained, impossible to suppress, and extremely cruel. The first 10 years will produce continuous natural disasters and the succeeding 10 years will be filled with many human misfortunes. This will calm down in 2048 because the population on the earth will have become much smaller and a stateless world will have been born. Artificial intelligence is evolving in geometric progression. The AlphaGo robot has defeated human beings in many thought experiments. People will still be people after 10 years, but by that time, AlphaGo will have evolved into a super-biological robot. Comparing those super-biological robots' intelligence to that of today's biological robots would be like comparing human intelligence to that of primitive, four-legged mammals. Professor Kaplan of Stanford University has come up with these statistics. 47% of 720 jobs considered in the United States will be replaced by artificial intelligence. In China, this proportion may exceed 70%. 10 years later, when super-biological robots begin to take over the world, states will undoubtedly be swept into history museums. Everything is advancing too rapidly in this era to predict what will happen next. Maybe black swans will fly as we wake up someday and the world will have changed into something unimaginable, something that we are at a total loss for. By then, such things as states are bound to have vanished completely. In the face of the state, how does every citizen treat it? Do not work hard for your countries because all of those efforts will be in vain. Do not regard yourselves as American, Japanese, or Vietnamese anymore, but think of yourselves as citizens of the earth. Imagining that your state does not exist and consider how you will survive without it, now. Affairs of the family, the state, and the earth are inconsequential, what really matters is your survival. Do not waste precious time listening to the lies and constant haranguing emitted by your governments and their apologists. Governments are not reliable at all, they can never be relied upon. It is no better to rely on a government than to rely on pigs. It is more useful to raise pigs than to raise a government. Join Facebook, the Ubuntu movement, an ecological community, a super-private enterprise, a civilized and powerful state, or any crowd that cannot be destroyed by super-biological robots. Do not wait until tomorrow, do it today. Escape from unfair societies with scarce resources and dense populations where morals have degenerated, as soon as possible. At all times, be vigilant and be alert. Be anchored against the wind, dig deep holes, accumulate grain extensively, and find your way out.